floats in JavaScript can be misunderstood as a result of how JavaScript treats numbers. All numbers in JavaScript are stored as 64-bit floating point numbers. So when you pass number into JavaScript, that number is usually stored in form of a floating point numbers, and not like the way we do have the direct integer in traditional mathematics. Now, all programming languages, including JavaScript, have difficulties with precise floating point values. So when it comes with working with numbers, working with floating point values, all programming languages produce surprises as they have difficulties with precise floating point value. Let's look at an example of how numbers work in JavaScript. Now, let me add another one. Let y equals to 0.2. In traditional mathematics, you expect this to be, you expect this to be what? To be 0.3. But in JavaScript, let's take a look. You can see this. So you can see the difference. So actually producing a precise floating point is something that is difficult in all programming languages. So JavaScript is not even an exception. As you can see that this simple addition that is supposed to give us 0.3 is giving us this large number that you can see on the screen. Now, if you want to solve this problem, it helps to multiply and divide. And that will be something like this. Let's see it. Now, if you look at this now, we have to go through the process of multiplying and dividing by 10 before we could get 0.3. So this is how difficult it can be for JavaScript to process precise floating point value. Let's talk about breaking a JavaScript string. In JavaScript, we allow you to break a statement into 2 lines. For example, let's look at this. Let x equals to hello world. And what is our x? Hello world, right? If I want to break this, I can break it after the operator and it will work. This will work. But take a look at this. If I break this in the middle, this will cause a problem. So if you want to break your code like this, you will need to make use of a backslash after the first word, like this. Then it will work. Without a backslash, it will not work. So you should understand how string can be broken in JavaScript. You can break a string either on a new line, the old string, or after an operator, but not in the middle of the statement. If not, it will throw this error that we saw earlier, which is this syntax error. String literal contains an on and on escape line break. Now, let's move on and talk about misplacing semicolon. Because of a misplaced semicolon, a code will execute regardless of the value of x. Let's look at this example. Now, if you look at this, well, let me refresh this because this should run, but it's not showing any error. If x equals to 19, we are talking about misplaced semicolon. Look at this. Now, because of this misplaced semicolon now, JavaScript will detach this condition from the other part. You can see that this is the only code that just ran and is giving us hello. So when you misplace semicolon in your code, it can bring an unexpected result because of this misplaced semicolon now, this code block executes regardless of the value of x. It does not matter the value of x, the code went ahead and execute on its own. Breaking a return statement. It's a default JavaScript behavior to close a statement automatically at the end of a line. Let's look at an example of how breaking a return statement matters. So if I have a function like this, my function, just a simple function, I take the parameter select power equals to 10 to return a asterisk power. So I need to call that function, my function, a 5 document dot let me call the function streets, and I will delete this. Now, if you look at this, you can see that the output here is what? Is 50. I can see my function, which is correct. The expected output that is expected is what I am getting here in my code. So breaking a return statement can also bring about what we're talking about. It is a default behavior in JavaScript to close a statement automatically at the end of a line. So even without returning a statement, JavaScript knows to how to process your request and then give you the right output that you might need in your code. So even if we remove this back semicolon, then the code will still work because JavaScript knows how to break a return statement. So it's a JavaScript default behavior to close a statement automatically at the end of a line.